Hi everyone, it's Nicole from Healthy NYC. Welcome. Today we're going to be practicing an invigorating Vinyasa flow to increase flexibility in the hamstrings. I won't be using any props for this practice, but you may want to have 2 blocks and a strap close by. So let's start in a wide-legged child's pose. So big toes together, knees apart. Crawl your palms forward and gently place your forehead down on the mat. Just breathing deeply, connecting with your breath. Not pushing or forcing anything, just letting gravity do the work here. Getting a nice gentle hip opener. Let's take 3 more full rounds of breath here. And coming up to tabletop pose. Your knees will be underneath your hips. Your wrists and your shoulders are aligned, fingers spreading nice and wide. Let's take a few rounds of cat and cow. On an inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, curl tailbone up. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Just take a few more at your own pace. Warming up your spine and your shoulders. Let's take one more full round. And coming back to neutral spine, we're going to move into our first downward dog. So walk the palms forward, curl the toes under, hips are going up and back. Your feet and your hands are at hip width distance apart, fingers spreading nice and wide, elbows are straight, and let your head and neck be heavy. Hugging in the lower belly and taking any movement that feels good in the body. Pressing into the fingertips and knuckles. Getting a nice stretch in your shoulders. Let's walk the palms towards the back of the mat to take a forward fold. Your feet can be hip width distance or a little bit wider. Bend your knees. You can hold on to your elbows or have your fingertips down on the mat. Just swing side to side, freeing up your neck and your lower back. And let's walk the palms back out, moving back into our downward dog. Adjust your feet if you need to. And when you're ready, inhale the right leg up, bend your knee, open up your hip. Both shoulders are pressing down. Straighten that right leg and let's step it through to our low lunge. Your ankle and knee are aligned on the right side, lifting up out of the lower back. Pressing your hips forward and down. Try not to crease too much in the lower back. Getting a beautiful stretch in the left hip flexor. Let's take one more breath here. Circle the arms wide, fingertips down on the mat. Let's move into our hamstring stretch. Your knee can either be straight or bent. Both hip bones are facing forward. Your foot is flexed. You can relax your upper back and shoulders. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And crawling the fingers forward, we're going to move into our wide-legged forward fold. So pivot towards the left side of your mat. Your feet are parallel to the short sides. You're hinging from the waist. You can feel free to adjust your stance here based on how your hamstrings are feeling. Go ahead and sway from side to side. Really getting a nice stretch in the hamstrings. You can either stay here with your hands down on the mat or on your blocks, or grab onto your 2 big toes. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale, both elbows are going out to the sides. Just going a little bit deeper into the hamstrings. Relax your shoulders, leaving plenty of space for the neck. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Crawl the fingers forward, come up to a flat back, and just toe heel your feet a little bit closer. We're going to move into this stretch. Again, going a little bit deeper. Feel free to bend your knees here. Grab onto your 2 big toes. Inhale to a flat back, and exhale, fold. Even if your hamstrings are very flexible, keep a micro bend in your knees so you're not locking your joints. Try to relax the upper body. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And bend your knees. Let's come up to standing position. Inch by inch, shoulders are going back into mountain pose. Let's move to the top of the mat to take our first flow. Big toes together, heels are apart. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, folding forward, hinging at the waist. Halfway lift, flat back. Let's plant the palms, step both feet back. Inhale to plank, exhale to chaturanga. You can take cobra or up dog. And exhale back into your downward dog. Let's take 3 breaths here. Keeping the fingers spread nice and wide. Left leg rises. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Straighten the left leg, and let's carefully step it through to our low lunge. Lifting up out of the lower back. Hips are pressing forward and down. Looking wherever's comfortable for your neck. Circle the arms wide, fingertips down on the mat, moving into our half splits on the left side. Take your version of the pose. Relaxing the upper body, making this about the hamstrings. Let's crawl the fingers forward, pivot over to the right side of your mat for wide-legged forward fold. Feet are parallel to the short ends. You can place your hands on the mat or on your blocks. Just relaxing your upper body. Feel free to stay here or grab onto your 2 big toes. Inhale to a flat back and exhale, folding a little deeper. Let's crawl the fingers forward, come up to a flat back, toe heel. Your feet in to hip width distance or a little bit wider. Grab onto your 2 big toes. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale, folding forward. Feel free to bend your knees. Elbows are going out to the side. Shoulders are away from your ears. Take one more breath here. And let's bend our knees, roll all the way up to stand, inch by inch into mountain pose. Let's step to the top of the mat and take a flow. Big toes together, heels apart. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, hinging at the waist. Halfway lift, flat back, plant both hands, stepping back into plank. Chaturanga. Take your back bend of choice. And let's exhale back into our downward dog. Right leg rises, keep it straight and squared, stepping it through to warrior two. Your back foot is parallel with the short side of the mat, bending into the front knee. Arms are outstretched nice and strong. Really pressing that right hip out, using your glutes. Engaging your back foot. Let's take a breath here. Torso is neutral. Moving into flying warrior. Straighten the front leg. Palms come together. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale. And exhale back into your warrior two. Inhale. And exhale, warrior two. Straighten the front leg and let's move into triangle pose. Hips are going forward and down. Feel free to adjust your stance. You can place your right hand on a block on the mat or against your shin. Really opening up through the chest. Take one more breath here. Look down towards the mat. Bend into the front knee, both hands down. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale into your downward dog. Left leg rises, keep it straight and squared. Stepping it through to warrior two on the left side. Take a breath here. Inhale, straighten the front leg, palms come together. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend, last one. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend. Let's straighten the front leg and move into our triangle pose. Looking wherever is comfortable for your neck. Getting a nice opening through the chest and the right shoulder. One more breath here. Look down towards the mat. Bend into the front knee, both hands down. Take an inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Let's take 3 breaths here. And when you're ready, right leg rises. Keep it straight and squared, stepping it through to warrior one. So your back foot is at about a 45-degree angle. Generous bend in the front knee. Both hip bones are facing forward. Inhale the arms up. Taking some nice deep breaths in this stable pose. Bring your hands down to your waist, straighten the front leg. Bring your back foot in a few inches to shorten your stance. We're moving into pyramid pose. Inhale to lift the chest. And exhale, hinging from the waist. You can place your hands on the mat or on your blocks. Really pressing into that back foot, making sure you're scooping that left hip forward. Relax your upper body and feel free to bend your knee. Let's take a few more breaths here. And lift up about halfway. We're going to move into our standing splits. So lifting the back leg up and folding forward. One more breath here. Let's take a flow. Both hands down. Step back to plank. Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. And exhale back into your downward dog. When you're ready, left leg rises. Keep it straight. Stepping it through to warrior one. Making sure your hip bones are facing forward, keeping a generous bend in the front knee. Bring your hands down to your waist, straighten the front leg, bring your back foot in to shorten your stance. Inhale to lift the heart, and exhale into pyramid pose, hinging from the waist. Scooping the right hip forward, pressing into that right foot. Try to relax your upper body to get a little bit deeper into the pose, and feel free to bend your knee as much as you need to. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And lift up about halfway. We're moving into our standing splits. Lifting the right leg up and back, folding forward. And let's move through our flow, stepping back to plank. Chaturanga. You can take your back bend of choice. And exhale back into our downward dog. When you're ready, lift the heels, bend the knees, move to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Hands at heart center. We're going to be moving into hand to big toe. I'm going to face you. You can stay facing the front of your mat. So we're balancing on our left leg. Bring your right knee up towards your chest using your hip flexors. Grab onto that big toe on the right foot, lifting up through the kneecaps on the left leg. You can either stay here or straighten your leg out. Keeping your knee bent if you need to. Take 2 more breaths here. Let's gently let that go. Shake it out and move to the other side. So inhale the left knee up towards your chest, grabbing onto the big toe on the left foot, really lifting up out of that right leg, and straighten your leg forward. Bending your knee as much as you need to. Try to stand tall. Take 1 more breath, and let's gently let that go. Shake it out. Heels in, toes out. Let's move into Malasana, or yogi squat. Use your elbows to gently press your hips open a little bit further. You can always sit down on a block if this is uncomfortable. Let's take a few breaths here in this beautiful hip opener. Nice flat back. And come down to a comfortable seated position. Both legs outstretched in front of you. We're going to take a seated forward fold. Inhale the arms up. And exhale, hinging at the waist, grabbing onto whatever's accessible. Feel free to bend your knees. You can make this passive. Relax your upper body. Three more full rounds of breath. Let's roll all the way back up and lie down on our backs. Bring both knees in towards your chest. Give them a little squeeze. You can either stay here or move into happy baby by grabbing onto the outside edges of both feet or your two big toes. Elbows are on the inside, tailbone is pressing down. If you'd like to go further, you can grab onto the big toes and straighten your legs. Trying to relax your upper body. Let's take one more breath here. Gently let that go. We'll move into Savasana, our final resting pose. Legs are outstretched, shoulders are down the back, palms are facing up to the sky. Let's take a few minutes here to fully relax the body. Start to deepen your breath. Bring some movement back into the body. You can wiggle your fingers and toes, turn your head from side to side. Let's stretch our arms up over our head for a great big morning stretch. Gently roll over to one side. And push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Let's take one more breath to close our practice, hands at heart center. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed this flow. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you again soon. Namaste.